All right, teachers, I'm back. I caught my breath. I got a glass of water. Let's continue on with our analysis. So I've pulled three technical writing positions into Word so I can do the analysis. And remember that I narrowed my search criteria to technical writer in Texas. That gives me a little bit of criteria, gives me some rigor. So when I'm reporting my results, I'm talking more reflective of what's going on in Texas. I can relate those results to what the Bureau of Labor Statistics says, and I can say, well, while this may be a global trend, this is what's going on in Texas. So again, we're taking kind of a broad concept and we're beginning to narrow our scope. Think of it as a funnel. We start off broad with secondary information, and now we're narrowing in and doing primary. You can't see me right now, but I'm making a triangle with my hands. It's very illustrative. I'm sorry you missed it. Okay, so we've got the business section here of the job ad. We've got the qualifications and the responsibilities. And remember what I said, just focus on the top three of these things. And all I'm going to do is, I'm kind of a visual person, so I'm going to just turn on my highlighter button just to help me. And I'm going to go through these job ads. So the first thing I need is a bachelor's degree. Okay, this is an important thing to note because this is the first thing that's mentioned in the job ad. And if I was theoretically applying for this job, you better believe that the first section that I have in my resume is not an objective statement, is not my experience, but is my education. Because I want to parallel everything that is in this job ad with what is in my materials. So you always want to think of a job posting as a hierarchy. Whatever's listed first is the most important thing. So we first of all have a good idea of what kind of education you need to be a technical writer, a bachelor's degree. That's helpful information for the Employment Outlook report. We also hear that we have years of experience in technical writing, content writing, or copywriting. And then we begin to get into the more of the skills and experience that's necessary. So ability to obtain in-depth understanding of our products and relevant industries. So again, we see that word product in there. So this is getting me thinking, I looked at this information on the BLS. There seems to be a lot of connection, at least with the purposes of this ad, to more of the global trends of a technical communicator or a technical writer. I'm going to skip down because, again, I think it's important that you look at the other qualifications, but I only want to keep you focused on the top three of both just for simplicity's sake. So let's look at responsibilities here. Work with marketing director, product manager, sales manager, and engineer, and other SMEs, subject matter experts, to translate complex processes into easy to understand written content for technical and non-technical audiences. So this again kind of starts to reflect back to those general BLS guidelines about being technical. And in this instance, we're differentiating between SMEs, subject matter experts, and taking that complex technical information and translating it into something that's easy to understand. Second is conduct interviews with SMEs to learn customer pain points, industry process challenges, product features, there's that product word again, and selling points, okay? So again, despite popular belief, technical writers actually do have to interact with people. What a concept. It's about relationships, all right? That was sarcasm. All right, and then the third thing is produce high quality, technically accurate written content that meets company standards and is appropriate for attended audiences. So again, we've got the word technically accurate in here. One of the things that we didn't see was a lot of stuff, remember, on documentation. Now, we can't generalize that all technical writing jobs in Texas don't emphasize documentation because we've taken general BLS information and applied it to one job ad, but it might suggest a difference just based on what we looked at. And in fact, if you skip down a little here, you begin to see the text types that this particular job is interested in. Sales brochures, white papers, case studies, IOMs, explainer video animation, website product pages, technical articles, and press releases. I don't really know what an explainer video or animation is. I'm going to think it's probably help documentation, but that's the closest that we actually get to help documentation. And again, if we go back here to our general description of what a technical writer does, the first thing that's listed is prepare instruction manuals, how-to guides. So, and that's the first bullet here is determine the needs of a technical documentator, and then write instructions. So this could be something that's Texas specific, which means it may somehow connect to the industries that employ the most technical writers in Texas. So when you all are doing your own job ad analysis, this is a research process that you can follow to begin to identify these trends. And again, notice that it's criteria based. You're not just making stuff up. You're actually doing, in this case, a text analysis to yield this type of information. And you will now go through your other 2 job ads and you can do something similar. And if you look at 3 job ads, which is plenty for the scope of this assignment, you're going to begin to see some general patterns and trends that emerge. And this is what's going to inform your specific recommendations. Now, if you want to go even further, you can, I've taken 3 job ads here. And again, I'm not going to go through them all, but if you're, again, more of a visual person, I'm going to just bop on over here to wordclouds.com. And I don't know if you've all ever seen a word cloud before, but it takes whatever corpus of text that you paste in, and it creates some type of lovely visual word cloud for you that you can use. And in wordclouds.com, I've just gone over here and I've just pasted text directly into it, which you're allowed to do. And this is an example of the word cloud that I generated with 3 job ads. And I'm going to just zoom in here a little bit. This can further your analysis. This can inform your analysis. But you can begin to see words that pop up here. So technical, it doesn't differentiate between case, because when you're dealing with free software, you get what you want. But obviously that's a word that pops up. Look, product. So across those 3 job ads, that was something that really came up as well. Now we've got documentation. And those of you that don't know, I mean, again, in a word cloud, the larger and more prominent the word, the more frequently it occurred in those particular job ads. So it's based on frequency here. We're just visualizing it a little bit differently. So words like documentation and content are coming up. It's not necessarily correlated with help or instructions and documentation. So again, we can see that there could be something there that's not reflective in the BLS. And in fact, you probably can't see it, but it's right here, instructions. It's not the smallest word in the cloud, but it's not the biggest either. So we may find that, in fact, documentation, writing help maybe is not as relevant. So again, these are just some strategies to help facilitate your analysis of job ads. You do not have to do anything that I have done in these last 2 videos, but my point is to help you take all of this information and do primary research, conduct an independent analysis. And part of how to do that is you have to know how to analyze information in a way that is reliable and valid. And again, think about each one of your team members following a similar process for whatever area or part of the industry that they're looking at. Think about how much more substantial and credible those results are going to be if you all follow some type of standardized methods. So again, this is how you can analyze job ads. Each one of you needs to identify 3 job ads and conduct an analysis on them for your Employment Outlook report.